Alright guys, this is going to be a video basically on how I trade and what my rules are. Basically what I've been doing and, personally how I trade. And if anyone has feedback or, I don't know, any advice, feel free to say whatever. Honestly, I'm open to criticism, help, anything. Alright, so I don't know if you guys are familiar with ICT, Justin Werlin, even TJR uses similar concepts basically. So I use MMXM, which is basically market maker buy or sell model. That's what the X is for. Basically substitutes B or S, which is buy or sell. So, what this means is basically going to be my personal sell model, which is going to be when I take shorts, and my buy model, which is going to be when I take long. So we're going to start with the market maker buy model, which is going to be models that identify that are going to be like reasons for me or anyone that adopts market maker models to go long or short in the market. So when I open up the markets, what I'm looking for some kind of sweep or like a large run of liquidity. Like, I want to see opposing liquidity or targeting liquidity get swept. It's pretty easy to spot, large candle, another large candle, we crash. Light. So we want to see a sweep or run of large scale liquidity. This can be, depending on how you trade, like me personally, if I find a buy model or sell model on the 15-minute, I'll scale to the 5 and potentially the 1, but I'm usually just scaling down 1. So if I find one on the 5, I'll entry on the 1. If I find one on the hourly, I'll mix the 15 and the 5 depending on what works best. But, for the most part, you find your entry, and here you're going to scale down. Oh, by the way, I use like an A+, like for trades, I give them kind of like a rating based on my personal conviction and how much trust I have in this trade. So I like to think, like, with every trade, if I personally put in $1,000, how much trust do I have in my $1,000 to make me money? Like, how much trust do I have in that money to make me more money? That's my personal conviction. So an A+ would be following all my rules. This more than likely should play out. And if it doesn't play out, I follow my rules. I mean, I'm not mad at this point. So to make this an A+, you would want to see an SMT, and in terms of buy model, you would want a bullish SMT, which is going to be a sweep of sell side liquidity. I should probably put a sweep of sell side liquidity. A large run of liquidity, same thing. To be an A+, you want an SMT to be formed after those lows are swept. A good example of that is here. I took this trade, I'm not even sure, May 25th. I took this a couple days ago. We had a sweep of this liquidity. We just ran all of this liquidity. We swept. We had an SMT off of these two pairs here. And then after SMT is formed, we find my model. It's in there. We're not really going to look at that right now, but we find the model and we just take profit at the opposing liquidity. Opposing, draws in liquidity. So after we had these two things, what are we looking for? So here you're gonna scale down to basically just get a better entry, and here you're gonna look for an inverse fair value gap, basically going in the direction of your model. So you want an inverse fair value gap. In this case, you want a bullish inverse fair value gap, so that price is somewhere to return to and then continue higher. So you're looking for an inverse fair value gap, but this has to be with power. You don't want like an inverse with like an up candle, down candle, up, down, choppy, and then breakthrough. You want like a rocket ship straight through that inverse value gap. That means that the market is basically telling you like, yo, we're not telling you we're going, but we're very likely going. So That's what you want. You don't want like a little baby break. Like you don't want choppiness, and then going because it kind of hurts your conviction, for me at least. So we're looking for an inverse value gap, and then we're looking for a change in state or a break of structure. Basically the same thing. I use a change in state, which is the last set of candles before the SMT or sweep. So I'm pretty sure I follow my rules here. Yeah. So we sweep obviously with these candles. We have the SMT form at this low. So the last opposing candle. So if we are bearish here, we're looking for the last bullish candle, which is going to be here. You mark it as your change of state. And basically what I'm looking for a sweep and then like a breakthrough of the change of state, same as the fair value gap, basically telling me like, hey, we're going to switch order flow. We were bearish and now we're going to continue bullish. So we want that change in state. And then continuing that, if I can find my chat bubble. Where did I put my chat bubble? There it is. So after this, really like an A plus for me after the change in state. Realistically, like if you had to, you could enter like right after we break change in state. But for me, A plus for change in state would be it would be finding a confluence around the change of state, like an order block, or even if the change of state itself is an order block, or there's a fair value gap, in the area of the change of state, and we have price return to change of state, and then continue upward. In this case, for buy model, we would want that. So an A plus would be a return to change in state after, or just a return to change of state to move price higher. So basically we break change of state, we want to see price retrace, hit some kind of confluence, order block, breaker block, fair value gap, whatever. And then we want to see price consolidate, or no, not consolidate. Want to see price kind of just tap into it. You can scale down to have a better entry, but you want to see price tap into it. And right as the candle closes, in this case, right as the bullish candle closes off of that, I'm entering because I already have everything I need. So after this, we're going to target, for our take profit, we're going to have draws and liquidity. So you're going to target key highs. I like to call them key highs, but it's really just, if you scale to 15-minute, you'll see key highs. It's not going to be like boom, 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 boom. It's going to be like candle, boom, candle. It's going to be very obvious. Your draws are going to be very obvious. A good example of that would be, say that I'm looking for my draw, obviously right here. Basically, imagine this being like a range, and you're looking here. Obviously, your take profit wouldn't be in the middle of this fair value gap because price doesn't have a reason to go to that fair value gap. Price has a reason to go to this liquidity because, this resting high, because we've just switched market flow and now we're going bearish. We're going bullish. Oh, my bad. So yeah. And then the same thing would apply for a market maker sell model. It would just have to be obviously a bearish SMT, bearish confluences, all of that. You're going to target key highs, and then you're going to set your stop loss preferably below the change in the state, because price normally wouldn't return there, or below change of state, below, can't spell, below the inverse fair value gap that we formed, or you can kind of just place it below just any key highs. So if you were to have, key lows. So if you were to have a swing low, then a push through up, you'd have, fair value gaps forming. That's basically like a protected low. So you're gonna basically, you can move it up, because chances are price may return. It may return, but it's gonna hit those fair value gaps. It's gonna hit those supporting confluences before it hits your stop loss. And for the most part, it's been working for me. I don't I don't really know enough to kind of give more reasoning as to why, but we're gonna put below key lows. Now, this model obviously can work for a market maker sell model. It says it's gonna be a sweep of buy side liquidity, larger liquidity, obviously. SMT is going to be a bearish SMT, so we're going to want to see a reason for price to go down instead of continue going up, which is, usually like a sweep of 1 hour range. You have a sweep of the hourly range, and if the next like strong key draw is super far reach and we don't have like a insanely strong reason to continue forward, chances are we're probably gonna retrace a little bit. But you can still make money off of that retrace. There's money to be made everywhere. So don't just think just because you're bearish doesn't mean that you always have to follow bearish models, because we retrace. That's how we go up. But obviously that's not good advice, because you should always be following your bias. That's just following your bias is already like an A plus. Like if you have a following your bias, a model shows up an S&T, I'm like 99% you're gonna make some money off of that. That for me, like that right there is golden. So this is currently my rules. I have it written right here on a whiteboard next to my laptop, kind of remind me, what I'm doing here. Obviously you can see my chart. I have S&Ts drawn out like crazy. All these are models, and the way that I watch a lot of Justin Verlander, and he uses, let's see if I can get the drawing. It's like is it a trend line? No, it's not. He uses basically like curves. So basically the model is going to be like this, because we're sweeping all of this liquidity back here, and then we're going to form liquidity. This is basically going to form the model. So basically we want to enter at the peak, and we want to see price form, because we want to form this liquidity so that later we can form another model and crash and have all this supporting liquidity, so then we can do something here. Another one is you have another model right here. We sweep here. I'm not sure if we had S&T, but let me turn off my magnet. We have the model here. Sweep all this liquidity, and we're going to form this liquidity here. Probably take profit at this high here, which we do end up hitting. The model is literally everywhere. Like, trade what you see. Trade what you see, not what you want to see, and I promise you, you're gonna go places. Let me just clear out this. Anyways, that's gonna be it for like my personal rules, how I trade, how I have been trading. Again, please, if you have any feedback, anything, I'm all for it. Please, anything. Other than that, I think that's probably gonna wrap it up. I just did my recap video, so probably get to editing probably right now and call it a day. Maybe read a book. Books are the method. But to whoever watched, thank you for staying to the end, and I'll catch y'all tomorrow.